Hey everybody, it's Mickey, and in today's video I am sharing with you my first real fall outfit of the day. I have the best fall crockpot meal, and together we are going to be making our own DIY table skirt. So if you are new here, I hope you will subscribe. I put out new videos every week about all things home. It is finally cold enough here to put on a pair of boots this morning and a jean jacket over my dress. We are going to be really busy this afternoon in the kitchen and also working on some projects at home. So today I am wearing a dress that I found a few years back from Ann Taylor. I have on my Denim & Company jean jacket that you can find on QVC, and my blue suede boots are by Mark Fisher. So by now I am already back at home, changed into my comfy clothes, and I am ready to share with you this great crockpot recipe for beef tips and mushroom gravy. So some of the things that you'll be needing for this recipe are about 3 pounds of beef stew meat, seasoned really well with salt, pepper, Mrs. Dash, and garlic powder. You're also going to be needing about 2 cups of sliced white mushrooms, 1 chopped onion, about 3 garlic cloves, some chicken broth, a packet of Lipton onion soup mix, some Worcestershire sauce, and a little bit later we'll be needing some cornstarch. The first thing we need to do is to brown our stew meat in about 1 tablespoon of butter and a tablespoon of olive oil. You really don't need to cook this all the way through. We're just going to get it browned on all sides. Now once you flip them over, be sure to season them really well again with the salt and pepper, Mrs. Dash, and garlic powder. I will be putting all the details to this recipe in the information section down below. As the meat is browned, place it in the bottom of your cold crock pot. Cover the browned stew meat with your chopped onion, sliced mushrooms, Lipton onion soup mix, beef broth, and Worcestershire sauce. Mix everything together really well until it's combined. Return to your crock pot base, cover, and you're going to cook for about 5 to 6 hours on low or 3 to 4 hours on high. So the project that we are going to be working on this afternoon is changing out this table skirt on my hallway table in our upstairs hallway. I had this table made years ago, and it's only about 12 inches or 11 inches wide, and it really fits perfectly into this space because it's quite narrow. And I have had this burlap skirt on it probably for like the last 8 or 9 years. Now, I really love burlap, but you know, as it ages, burlap changes color and it starts to fray a little bit down at the bottom. So I thought this would be a good time to change it out. Now, I have always had a skirt on this table because underneath is where I store all of, you know, the kids and the family photo albums, and this whole table is just full of them. And it's really a good spot for us because it's out of the way, but it's, you know, close at hand if you want to take a look at them. What I want to do here in the hallway is lighten everything up a bit. We are going to be painting our foyer and our upstairs hallway, hopefully a little bit later next year, but I thought this would be a really good way to bring a little light into this space now. For projects like this, I really like to use curtain panels because they're just really easy to work with, and they're usually a great quality, and you can get them for a reasonable price at places like Walmart and Target. So I went up to Target and I picked myself up a couple packages of these Pinkney panel pairs, and these are a really good size. They are only about 56 inches wide, and the length on them is 84. So just this one package will give me a lot of material to complete this project and have it be full enough to cover up, you know, the photo albums that are underneath. So the only other thing I'm going to need to complete this project is a staple gun, and I went and I stole this out of my husband's toolbox. And what I'm going to do now is just take everything off of the table, including some of the photo albums down below, so it's a little bit easier for me to move around. And then I'm going to strip off the skirt that is on it now. So I've pulled the table out into a little bit of a larger area to work with. I removed all of the burlap, but I have left just a few of my albums here so that I can see how far they protrude out to make sure that everything is covered really well. And then to prepare my fabric, I have just ironed it really well and gave it a good starching so that it is nice and crisp. One thing I will tell you is if you pick a pattern, be sure that it is one that you can work with either vertically or horizontally like this one, and it makes your whole life so much easier. To get started, here in the back I have secured the fabric with a couple staples. Now when I am all done, I'm going to come back and cover the whole back with a panel of fabric to make sure that everything is complete and opaque. But to start off, I went in about 1/4 of a way on the back, and this is going to be the piece that I'm going to start to ruffle as I go around the whole front of the piece. I probably will have to add another panel somewhere along the way, but I'll show you how easily this is done, and it takes no time at all. Okay, so to get this whole process started, you are going to be making a pleat here at the top. So you're going to take the fabric and just fold it over maybe 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch, whatever you think is going to work for the look that you are going for. And you can kind of smooth it down all the way down to the floor. And then you are going to take your staple gun and then you're just going to staple right there at that pleat. And it'll hold it in place until you make your next pleat. And again, this is all how you want the final product to look. You can spread them out as far as you want or have them as close as you would like. So I'm just going to make another pleat around here, and it's about 1 inch or 3/4 of an inch. Hold it tight and get your staple gun and just staple it in. And again, you can just take your pleat and fold it all the way down. And then you're just going to continue this process all the way around until you run out of fabric, and then I will show you how to add your other piece. So one more we're going to stick right here in this corner. Fold your fabric down. And staple it in. So this is what we have so far, and I really love the way it looks. I think this is going to look so pretty and bright and different here in the hallway. So I have come to the end of my piece of fabric, which is really, you know, a curtain panel. And this is the end that is the hem of the curtain itself, so it's a little bit thick. So what I have done here is I have just stapled it down to my table. I have made my last pleat and I have taken the excess and I have just stapled it down. So what I will do with my next piece is I have it folded over like this. As you can see, it's folded over. This is the hem of the second panel, and I'm just going to lay it over that piece so it looks exactly like a pleat. So here is the excess of that first panel that I have completed, and now I have folded over my second curtain panel, and I'm going to lay it on just as I would as if it was a pleat in a continuing pleat. So I'm just going to lay it on top of here, and I'm going to staple it with my staple gun. There you go. And then we're just going to continue with pleating and stapling until we're all done. So now all the pleating is done and I have the back side completely covered with material. This whole process probably took me about 15 or 20 minutes. It's really quick once you get started. So our next step is going to be making a little piece of trim so that we can cover up all of our staples. This is another panel of the curtain fabric that we are using, and the hem that we are going to utilize for our trim is this one here, and it runs the length of the curtain panel so that we can get the largest piece possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a strip probably about 3 inches wide, and then I'm going to iron it in half, and I will show you how we're going to staple it to the front of our table to give it a nice clean edge. So I have my trim piece all ironed and ready to go. I have it attached in the back, and I've already attached it here on the side. But you can see as I lay it out here, it really does finish the whole project really nicely. It makes everything look nice and clean and crisp. So this is our manufactured edge right here, our little hem. And I have it folded over, so I have a little extra flap, and this is where we're going to put our staple and secure it to the table. Now we're going to only do this every so often because we want it to look nice and smooth. So once you get it to about where you think you want it, you're going to lift your flap, and with your staple gun, staple as close as you can to the top of the table. And you just want it to hold it into place while you continue with your trim piece all the way down. So with our trim piece all in place, our project is complete. I'm going to put everything back, and I'll show you what the completed project looks like. I am so happy with the way that this project has turned out. I think that switching out the burlap for this fabric has really lightened up the space and has given new life to my little table here in the hallway. This is such an easy project to do, and it really makes a big difference. So back in the kitchen, we have about 30 minutes before our beef tips are all done. At this time, you're going to take that 1/4 cup of water and 3 tablespoons of cornstarch and mix it up in a small bowl or in a mason jar and put it in your crock pot and mix it around to get your gravy nice and thick. Cover and let it cook for another 30 minutes, and then your beef tips are all done. We like to serve ours on top of some mashed potatoes with some veggies. This is a great cozy meal to come home to after a long day at work, or it's even perfect for a Sunday dinner. So thank you all so much for watching today. I could not be happier that the weather is finally cooling off and it feels more like fall. I hope that you will follow me over on Instagram at My Bashful Life, and please don't forget to subscribe. So until I see you in that next video, I hope that you love the life that you have. Be kind to each other, and I will see you again soon. Bye!